Let's go.
Welcome back to Pace Pals, everyone. Thank you so much for your continued support through both the first week, us recapping that first round of Pace qualifiers, and then the second week, last week's phenomenal interview with Cheese. Great insights with the GOAT. It was a blast. Thanks so much for watching and supporting. We really do appreciate it. We have another great episode to bring you this week, an interview with Beeve, the one, the only. Xxyyzzmw, what'd you think of this interview?
Honestly, I think, I don't want to play favorites or anything, but like Beeve gave a lot of, just like she's a lot of fantastic insight. But what was special about this interview is that we got both perspectives on both sides of the coin for the qualifiers. Beeve was a runner and a commentator as well for the first round. So touched on a little bit about the qualifiers, his performance, his mentality, and then that was maybe the first half of the interview. Second half of the interview, we definitely touched on a lot more about commentary, his experience with comms, how he got into it, things that he likes about commentary, things that he does. So it was really interesting to hear both perspectives from somebody.
Totally agree. Had some great insights on comms, which we don't get from our other interviews. This round of shows, and then he had some great paces. Had a unique approach to the right out of the gate for that first week, doing a 600 star, so 120 runs. So tune in. It's a great interview. We hope you all enjoy it. Welcome back, everyone. We are here with ItsBeeve, Beeve, number 36 on the leaderboard with a 141.28, a blistering time. Check him out at Twitch at twitch.tv/ItsBeeve and Twitter at ItsBeeve. Beeve, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me on here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, of course. It's a pleasure to have you on. I'm doing great. I can't speak for you, Xxyyzzmw. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm always excited to talk to anybody in the Mario community, especially Beeve. Very knowledgeable, very good player, and a great commentator. So I'm excited to get his perspective for sure.
True.
Same to you as well.
We have you. You're a first guest who kind of gives us both sides of the coin there. You're not just competing in pace qualifiers. You're also commentating the event. So it's going to be great to kind of dive into those, dissect that, and see how you view the game both as a runner and a commentator. I want to start off by asking how you feel about your performance this weekend.
So my performance this weekend, which was January 28th and 29th, or no, January 27th and 28th. Yeah. Both those days. So my first, I think I did super well, by the way. I did like way better than I expected. My first run, or like my first attempts of like doing runs for pace qualifiers, I actually did a 600 star run, and that's basically 5 no resets in a row.
Oh man.
And my third run that I got, that was the no reset, was the best run I got throughout the entire weekend. So I was pretty happy with that. Doing no resets with Carpulus, though, unfortunately, is like pretty painful. I think next time that I do these marathon runs, I'm not going to do Carpulus, because it's a very hard strat. It's very frustrating if you miss it. So yeah, I have learned my lesson there. And then on Sunday, I did get a lot of really, really good runs. I got like best pace ever out of CCM. I think it was a 48:05 CCM exit 120, which is very, very, very good for me. Some people sometimes get 47s. I don't think anyone's gotten besides Ouija maybe. I think he's gotten a 46 CCM exit, but 48, like a low 48, is very, very solid for me. And I think I performed like super well. So I ended up getting 11th place out of the qualifiers, which I think gives me 5 points, I think. And my overall goal for the weekend was to just get 1 point. That was it. I just wanted 1 point, and then I'd feel happy about myself. And the fact I got 5, I'm over the moon. I feel super great about that.
5 times your goal.
Exactly.
That's awesome. I want to actually touch on that. Your best pace ever. I had noted here, I didn't have the exact time, but we had in our notes that it was best pace ever out of CCM. and I think you were going. I think you were minus roughly a minute to your PB going into cloud stage. I think at that point it was about 23 seconds off of best pace ever. When you have that kind of run, obviously there's the immediate devastation when you lose it. You know, that hurts, especially losing it so late. You're into Tippy. But does that motivate you? Does that inspire you? Does that give you confidence knowing that you're capable of those paces? Not just, you know, when you're doing runs every day, but during the LTA, and that you're able to compete at that high of a level?
I would say, yeah, it's definitely super motivating. The fact that I was only plus 20 on best pace ever going in the cloud stage was pretty interesting because when I was best pace ever out of CCM there and I got to DDD, I actually saved and quit and I lost like 40 seconds. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to keep going because I can maybe still get a PB with this because I was so far ahead of my PB. And then I think going into, I think TTM, I was going against bounce splits, and then I was still a minute ahead on my bounce splits. So I was like, yeah, this run's still alive somehow, but it's cooking still. So that, and for save and quits to happen after like DDD, that's like the worst. That's the worst save and quit you could probably do besides like a Tippy save and reset, and you have to do like Wilco clip again. That might be the worst one you have to do, but like out of DDD, you're in basement, you have to go through like several doors. I think that's probably the worst save and quit opinion. Maybe HMC, but that one's still like pretty bad. But you know, it does motivate me to like keep improving my time and keep getting better and better. I'm noticing more improvements every time I play the game, honestly. And even though not every day is going to be a smash hit, I'm going to have times where I'm stuck in womps for several hours, or I'm not going to be able to get the basement, or like I can't get past HMC 100. We all have those kinds of runs where we're just like, man, like I got to keep it going. You know, I just got to keep trying. I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong. You gotta kind of have like a nice little attitude about it, but you can't like really be too hard on yourself. Otherwise, you start kind of doubting yourself, and then you start getting like, you know, frustrations. And you know, I think every runner kind of experiences runs that way, and trying to improve their times. They're just like, wow, I'm playing so well, and then all of a sudden, I'm just like, I'm playing like trash. You know, playing awful. And I think that's just the nature of the game. You know, maybe you didn't get enough sleep, maybe you didn't get a good meal. You know, it really could be a plethora of different things that can happen for that. So
do you have anything that you maybe do? I don't know if anyone has like a pre-run ritual. I never hear speedrunners talk about it, but do you have anything you like to do before runs to like maybe get yourself in a good mindset going in?
Great question.
I mean, I just practice, and then literally as soon as I start runs, I practice LBLJ, and then I go into runs, and that's it. There's really nothing magical about it. Literally nothing. I just kind of hop into it, and I hope for the best.
Yeah, LBLJ is fantastic to get a little practice in before you
Yeah,
go.
I try to get like 3 in a row before I start doing attempts because I don't want to keep resetting at LBLJ. So
yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry to let you down on that. I don't have any.
It's okay.
Like I don't have like smokes around me, like trying to like build the spiritual energy of like the PB gods. Give me a PB now. Like that's not happening.
I feel like I always do LBLJ right before I start runs too. Just like the last thing I do, because like I don't know. I feel like the worst thing, I get so in my head about it. If I start with them and then, you know, I start runs, it's like, oh man, I haven't touched these in like 40 minutes. Like,
yeah.
What if I don't remember how to do them? So I'm with you on that one. Last thing I do every time.
Yeah.
When you're doing runs, when you're, you know, actually competing, are you able to watch other runners too, or are you mostly just focused on your own gameplay?
So the entirety of the LTA, I was actually in a voice call with the other runners and hanging out with the friends and seeing their paces and like commenting on them like, man, this is a good run for you. And he's like, yeah, it's not bad. You know, I'll talk to Callie, I'll talk to Horror, I'll talk to those guys in the voice call and the Discord. And, you know, we will just be, you know, riffing off each other and making jokes, you know, smiling, laughing. It really kind of eases the mood when you're, you know, playing the game, you know, because we're in the trenches trying to dig out some really insane times, and you lose a run, and it's like, ah, damn it, and it's like Well, and then we can kind of laugh about it afterwards at like how ridiculous the death was, or just like, oh, we'll get it better next time or whatever. So it's good camaraderie in the community. So it's really nice.
Love
Yeah,
it.
one of my favorite things about Mario in general and the community aspect is the camaraderie, like you mentioned, and it's just a really great way to feed off of each other and keep each other motivated. If you can, do you have any highlights from those VCs? Maybe some moments from those VCs that you could share?
There was like a point where during my PB at the weekend that I had, my best time, which was a 140-150. During my 600 star run, I actually reset my splits by accident going into upstairs.
Oh
And
no.
I was just like, oh my god, my splits are gone. But I had my secondary timer for 600 star, so I still had a timer and I was good. So I kept it going, but I was like, Callie, I have no idea what pace this is. And he's just like, finish it. I gotta find out. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'm going in the tippy, and I'm like, I think I'm PB pace, but I like don't know. It feels like it. Because it's roughly like 30 seconds from my PB. So like it's kind of close.
Yeah.
And I went into Rainbow Ride, and I was going for the wall kicks for going to set up carpetless. And I missed the first wall kick and just dove right off. And I was like, okay, that probably killed the PB. But I'm like, this is probably going to be a good event PB. Because before that, I had like a 143 something. So I was like, I'll probably beat that. And so I set up carpetless. I did it, got it first try. And I was like, okay, that's great. Let me do the rest of Rainbow Ride. And I went into bits, and the bits was really good. And I was like, Callie, I don't know what this is, man. And he was like laughing with me. And he's like, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure you did great. And then I finished it, and it was a 140-150. And I was like, wow, that's way better than I thought it was going to be. So I was really happy with that. That was like a funny little moment that we had together. I think that's like a big highlight. Probably remember off the
awesome.
top of my head.
So when you finished it, you had to do like the math, the third run minus the second credits, right? To know what the time was.
Well, for 600 star, I always split like exact run, and then for credits, it gets its own split.
Got it.
So that way you just have time to walk around and chill.
It's a bit
Do
like a
straight up Mario, like literally just glued to the screen. You can just walk up and get a drink of water, use the bathroom if you need to. But it gets its own split. So whenever I hit the reset button after Mario says, "Thank you so much for playing my game," I hit the reset button, and then I split, and then that starts the new run.
Got it.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like that's a necessity. You can't do. I mean, what would that be? That'd be almost 10 hours.
Yeah, so I think
9,
that 600 star run, I actually PB'd the 600 star. That's my
What?
third one I've done.
Let's go.
So
Unbelievable.
I PB'd by like I think 18 seconds. It was like
Let's
so
go.
small, but it was like I think it was 9 hours, 3 minutes, and 38 seconds. I think that's what it was.
Well, that begs the question: when's sub 9?
Sub 9 soon. I'll get to it eventually. Next time when I do it, I won't do carpetless, and I think it'll be a lot easier.
Hell yeah! So okay, you.
So I had.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I had some like stinkers of some runs in there. Like I had some 146s, and I was like, this run was not that good at all. So
Yeah, true. That's how I would feel if I did that.
yeah, but the 141 definitely helped a lot.
That's awesome. So you talked about not doing carpetless in future LTAs. What other takeaways do you have from this weekend about kind of shaping your strategy for whatever strats you're gonna do, or just play style?
So my trying to do the LTA and doing carpetless, I was just like every time I get to carpetless, I lose the run. So I think after I think I had like 7 or 8 PB attempts to carpetless and dying to carpetless, and I'm like, that's one too many runs to lose to carpetless. So I'm like, and even during the LTA, I'm seeing people left and right lose PB attempts, lose runs, all to carpetless. Everyone's struggling with the trick, and like, I'm not the only one. Everyone's struggling with it. So in my mind, I'm just like, a minute time save, that's nice and everything, but like, I feel like the community's kind of laxed with their time lately because carpetless is a buffer, and you have that time to work with where it's like, oh, I lost like a minute in DDD 100, And it's like you can save all that time back with one trick called carpetless. And I think like I said, the community's become lax with like having that strat as a backup or like as a strat they can use. But like I feel like besides that happening, I think everyone's just kind of going gung ho with it and just going for it regardless of like what kind of pace they're on. I remember the date. I remember where I was. I remember what I was wearing. It was December 3rd, 2023. It was my first 103 up, and I was nervous. So nervous. I had hundreds of viewers, no raids. Everyone was all eyes on Beeve. I was just like, oh my God, like I've never had this kind of run before. I was sweating. And like I know a 103 might not be special for people who are used to seeing Ouija, Cheese, Punkay. They get the 102s on the reg. It's another day in the office for them. But for me, 103 is like that. That's special to me. That's really, really. It's crazy that I haven't gotten a 103 before. It's a 103.59, but it's a 103.
Still a 103.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
So, I got it all the way to carpetless, and I messed up the movement getting the carpetless twice, and I was on 139.35 pace into the Rainbow Ride, and I got to carpetless on a third attempt, and I nailed it first try, technically. So if I didn't mess up those movements, I would have gotten it. I would have gotten a 139 in that run.
Man.
And I think about that run every day. That's what motivates me the most is like, I can get a run like that again. It's so motivating. I'm just like, give me another 139 or give me another 103 up. I can get 139. Let me get it. I can do it. So that's what man. So, but right now I'm getting rid of carpetless. I'm not going to do it until I get 139. And then if I want to go for 138, I'm going to implement carpetless. And I think that'll help. Because I think at that point, I think I definitely need a carpetless to help me out with a 138.
You said if there. Is there any... Have you thought about what happens after 139?
I don't know. So I told myself I would get 139, and then I would go to 70 star. That's my plan. I was going to go for 47 and 70. That's what I was going to do. And after that, I wouldn't know what to do because I'm not really a big 16-star fan. I don't know if I would go for a 15 or what in 16. I think that would be pretty simple for me to get even now. But I think my big my big passion is 120. Like I really want 139. I've always wanted 139 ever since I don't know, 2 years ago. So definitely want to get it at some point.
What's your 70 PB now?
My 70 PB is a 49.49, and I got that as like a one-off for some tournament I did for, I think it was one of BDEF's tournaments for 70. I just did like a week of 70 or something, and I just got 49 randomly. I got a few 50s and then just randomly 49 after that, and I was like, oh, cool.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Zeus.
I feel like there was something I was going to ask, but related to just gameplay in general, but I cannot remember what that question was. I can't believe it. I'm the greatest interviewer of all time. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you heard it. You heard it right here, folks. Greatest interviewer.
I have a question if you want me to ask one. Who impressed you the most this week? And there's obviously, Ouija went off. But was there anyone else that really stood out to you with their performance?
I would definitely say 100% Raisin. He extremely impressed me. If anyone doesn't know who Raisin is, I think he has world record in emulator 120. Mm-hmm. And he started doing console runs just out of nowhere. And I always thought he was just going to be on emulator forever. But he switched to console, and he got like some really good 70 star times. And I think he has a 47 on 70 star on console, pretty sure.
It's crazy.
And then he went to 120, and literally first day of runs for the LTA, he lands him a 140.56.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that's so crazy because emulator and console are like, it's almost playing a different game, almost. Because you have to include like lag reductions and you gotta like adjust to like how Mario moves in console rather than emulator. It's a big difference. It's a huge difference because I first started off on Virtual Console. That's my platform I first started on, and switching from Virtual Console to actual console was just, it's so drastic. It took me like a month to get even sub 2, even though I already had sub 2 on Virtual Console. It took me like a month to get a sub 2 in 120 after that switching. So props to Raisin for switching so quickly or adapting so quickly to the Switch. So I think he was the one who impressed me the most.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you completely. That was specifically at a sub bullet point under this that was like thoughts on Raisin. Raisin went absolutely off. Crazy to see what he did.
Yeah.
So looking at, we should talk a little more about Raisin. Raisin ended up in 10th. So I think that's what, if it's one above you, that should be 6 points, I think. 7. Yeah, 6 points. Obviously the top 7 qualify. Knowing that already, he got to a 140.56, and this was his first time doing 120 runs on console, right? I mean, this LTA was
day one. Yep.
So what do you think of Raisin's odds of being able to sneak into that maybe 7, even 6, number 5 spot potentially? I mean, you think he has a real shot at qualifying?
I think he can get 139 soon, probably, knowing him. Maybe 138. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might be a little hard for him because I think his 140 doesn't even have carpetless. So,
Goodness.
I think he rode the carpet in his 140. So he has plenty of gold potential everywhere. Like he's fresh. He's fresh out of the oven, ready to go for 120. So I can see him qualifying. Actually, pretty sure if he gets like 5th place every qualifier, he can get top 7 and get the pace. See some new faces on there.
Yeah. I mean, in the times you described, if he's getting a 139, Callie and Beast were 5 and 6 with 139.51. So a 130, I mean, if he's able to put up 139s in each of the next 2 LTAs, there's a really good chance that he qualifies.
Yeah. And if he does qualify, he's certainly the underdog, and I love rooting for the underdog. I know Beast Assassin was one of my favorites during the summer pace, and I would love to see Beast qualify as well.
We were talking about that. I feel like Beast's story was just awesome. I feel like that was kind of his, his breakthrough was last summer. I feel like he was relatively unknown before that. He qualifies for the live event, and then his PB at the end is just one of the all-time great moments, I feel like.
Yeah, I kind of knew who Beast Assassin was for a bit, even before like him qualifying, because a lot of Mario runners know all the Mario runners at some point, because we always run into each other or like raid each other or whatever. I remember during the summer qualifiers, Genix was actually doing interviews for all the qualifiers there, and which was super cool. If anyone needs to see any cool content about any of the runners that were at that event, definitely give that a look. I think it was a really cool insight as to like how all the runners grew up, what their inspiration was to Mario, what they think about like the LTA, what they think about speedrunning in general. I think it was very well done. It's very professional, and definitely check it out. But I was watching Beast Assassin's interview, and one of the questions came up was, what are some Mario runners you should be on the lookout for? And he name dropped Lay Sauce, and then he dropped my name, and I was like, I had no idea Beast Assassin even knew I existed.
Let's go.
I was just like, and he just knows who I am and is saying like, watch out for Beeve. And I'm like, whoa, that's really cool. They gave me like a chill up my spine when I heard that. And I was like, wow, that's super cool. Made my like month. So
that's awesome.
So if you are watching this Beast Assassin, thank you. Appreciate that.
I love that.
So there seems to be, well, we talked a little bit about this in the recap portion of this episode. I don't know if this has been figured out yet. It's a little off-topic question. We have a certain shadowy figure in the standings, an Xxyyzzmw. Do you have any idea who that is?
I know who it is. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yep, I do.
Is it shrouded in secrecy, kinda?
I mean, it's public knowledge. If you do some digging, you'll find out.
I think I know the answer then.
So it's the Glemic, right?
Maybe. Like I said, you gotta do some digging. You gotta find out.
Is it Miyamoto himself?
Could be. Said,
Finally
just
speedrunning
gotta do
the
some
game.
digging.
Love it.
Oh, I love that so much.
Do you guys really want to know, or do you want to keep the mystery?
I don't know,
Lay
Gio.
it
Do we
on
want
us.
to spoil ourselves?
I think we want to know.
You want to know? Okay. So it's Kano.
Yeah.
Change his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he actually made a tweet saying like Xxyyzzmw is the stupidest name ever. I regret this name. So I think that tweet came up and we were like, oh yeah, it's Kano. Makes sense.
We saw Zia specifically called out that tweet, and that was our leading suspicion. But we wanted to entertain some more fun theories, so that's where Siglimit came from. And then Miyamoto was a brand new theory as of literally 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, I'm sure Miyamoto's been working on his X cams over in the Nintendo headquarters.
Hey man, one can dream.
True.
You know,
I don't know what I would do if Miyamoto did Mario speedruns.
I would love
Like,
it.
what would happen?
That'd be my favorite
You
thing
can
ever.
you can only be against something for so long before you're like, what's this all about, really?
Yeah. If I can't beat him, I'll join him kind
There you
of
go.
situation.
Exactly.
Once the community has enough momentum, man, he'll join.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Beeve, the Mario player, is obviously has a lot of perspective, but we can shift focus to Beeve the Commentator now. So kind of give us a little bit of background about like kind of what got you into commentary and like what inspired you to do comms in the first place.
So I kind of like talking about the game. I have a lot of knowledge. I like to say I like to have a lot of knowledge, especially in 120. Especially with me running the game. That's how I'm able to like know this stuff. I think I commentated one thing because I was slightly interested in commentary and like at some point because I was like I like talking about this game. I can't stop talking about this game. It's so much fun. And I noticed like people do commentary. I was like, that'd be kind of cool if I could, try commentary. So I messaged Xxyyzzmw for a Cool Cat gang, and they always have commentators on there. So I messaged him. I was like, can I do like comms at some point and try it out? And he's like, absolutely. We need more commentators. I was like, oh, cool. So I tried it out, and I had a blast. I had a lot of fun, and my girlfriend was actually watching that just to support me to see how I did on comms, and she came up to me and she was like, you should do that more. That was really cool of you to do that. You seemed super professional. You did super well. I think you do a great job doing that. I was like, okay. So
Very sweet.
I was like, all right, I guess I'll try it out more. I'll try out more commentary stuff, and then I did more commentary. Super fun. And I played at pace. I've done a run at pace and ran it, and then also kind of commentated at the same time. It's kind of interesting, kind of run the game and commentate at the same time. It's pretty cool. And I also have done like several like marathon runs for like certain charities. GDQ being one of them too. I played for GDQ a few times. So that was really hype and really cool. And then I messaged Milo for GSA, and he was like, "Yeah, you could do commentary. It'd be cool." I'm like, "Okay." And every time they need commentators, I'm like, "Sign me up. I want to be a part of this. I want to keep commentating. It's super fun. Love talking about this game."
I love it.
So yeah, that's what got me getting into it.
What have you learned as you've commentated more runs, more events? How has your style changed? And what kind of, I guess, jumping off of that, what advice do you have for people who want to get into it and for people who want to keep improving at their commentating abilities?
So I think a very important rule with commentating, if you're going to say something, either say like you know it, like don't make it up, And if you're not sure about it, just be like, I think this is what it is, or like, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's like the biggest thing that should be important for commentators to learn if you have knowledge on the game, and if you're trying to like say like, oh, he lost like 10 seconds, or like this strat saves like 2.5 seconds or something. Like, I feel like that knowledge is very important, because if you make up an arbitrary number, you're kind of misleading the masses and like the people watching, and I think that's unfair. So just to make sure like everyone should know their stuff before they get up there, or just make a claim like, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this strat saves this, or they just lost this because of this, or whatever. I think that's a very important thing. And another thing that's also super important is like, I didn't really think about this when doing commentary, but like making sure you're like, this has nothing to do with like the actual game itself, but it's actually like pushing donation link and making sure people are getting those donations out, and reminding people what they're watching, because people are coming in and out constantly. You're going to see people are going to see this and never seen it in their life, and they're like, what is happening here? Why is there so much Mario? Why are these timers all different? Like, what's going on? So I think if you explain what's happening, like every like half hour or so, every hour-ish, um, it'll remind people to be like, oh, that's what's happening. Okay, cool. So especially in the LTA format, I think it's such a like kind of complicated thing that you're watching, but like not really. You're just kind of watching people doing runs and getting the best time, basically it. But like I said, people who watch speed runs or like are watching competitions, they're not really gonna know what an LTA is. No, they don't even know what LTA stands for. So I think it's important to address that as well.
I think it's a great point about knowing your audience. That just reminded me of, this had to be a troll comment, but I did see at one point, either Saturday or Sunday, somebody came in and Para was like an hour and a half into his run, so his timer said 1:30, and somebody was like, or it was an hour 16, and it was 1:16. And somebody was like, what time zone is Para? And then it's 1:16 there. And like, there's no way that has to be a troll comment, but it does kind of highlight that there are truly people coming in that like, they're not familiar with this tournament. They don't know what's going on. So you do kind of need to tailor what you're saying to that. But that comment killed me. I was dying. And then it was very nice. Like, a lot of people took it very seriously and answered like his legitimate time zone. And then some people explained like, no, that's a timer. It's not how it works.
That's super funny. Yeah, that's hilarious, because Para is in a completely different time zone, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think people can get that, that inclination of like, what is happening here. So it's interesting. That's funny.
So you've definitely been around the block in commentary, like you said. You've commentated a lot of different things, had a lot of commentary moments. Is there any that kind of stand out to you, either from this past weekend or just like in general, that's are very memorable from your commentary experience?
I think my most memorable commentary moment was, there's two that come to my head, because it was live at Pace there in the fall part. So 2023 fall at Pace in Maryland. And I was commentating with, I think I was commentating with Elisa at the time. And I remember seeing Cheese mess something up in LOL Elevator, and he did like the craziest backup where he landed on the lava, and then he landed like where that tiny little platform is that's holding the pole. He landed on that and saved it somehow. And I was like, this is why he's the GOAT. I'm like, this makes so much sense why that happened. And I just remember saying, geez, that was very good. And then he just screams it, very good. And he just screams it so loud. It's just like, I was like, that's so funny. that sticks out in my brain. And then the other one was when I was actually doing, so not only Mario happens at those Pace events, but they have other LTAs that happen too. One of them was Banjo-Kazooie, which I've speed ran and I'm pretty knowledgeable about, but not super knowledgeable. I was just kind of helping out Pace GSA, because they didn't really have a lot of people doing commentary there. So I was just helping out doing that. And I got to learn a few things too from the other commentators that are very well knowledge about Banjo. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So I did that. And really right at the very end, there was a runner named Trip who got world record at the event, and I was there doing commentary for it, and I was like, "This is super cool! I got to do commentary during a live world record during an LTA." And I was like, "That's super cool." I was very elated to see that happening, and GG's to Trep getting that world record too. So it's really cool to see.
That's sick. I mean, I remember when I first started being involved in eSpeed running or watching it, I so badly just wanted to not even see one live, like see one on Twitch as it was happening, a world record. So I can't even imagine being there in person and then getting to call it live. That's like the perfect. I mean, it's like it's the pipe dream, right? I mean, to get to call it. I'm so sorry if I lost my composure. Is that an advertisement on your fireplace screen back there?
The fireplace behind me, I'm playing it on YouTube, and it switched to an ad in the middle of that answer. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
It did catch my eye, so I was like, he's trying to suggest some s'mores to me because you put Hershey bars over the fire.
I was
it's
like
subliminal messaging, Beeve.
Yeah. I'm going to have s'mores after this interview
Let's
now.
go. It worked.
We gotta block that out. They haven't they're not an official advertiser.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by Hershey's.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. So is there anyone out there that, you probably had the chance to commentate with a good number of people at this point. Is there anyone that you haven't yet and you're dying to get in the booth with that you think it would just be a blast to commentate with them?
I think there's like a few people I had in mind. One of them actually being Xxyyzzmw. Definitely want to do comms with you sometime. That'd be super fun to do, I think. I think it would be you. And I think I would like to do comms with like someone who doesn't normally do comms. Just like some random runner or something. Because I know at the LTA, we had some like one-off people go up there sometimes. Like I think Taki was up there at one point. That was really cool to see her do some commentary. And I think during the fall, we had Genix on there doing some commentary as well. So that was really cool to see happen. And he's a natural at it. He's really good at it. So definitely should see more of that.
So, I feel like every commentator kind of has like their own like spin or maybe like a bit that they do. There's a lot of bits on commentary in the Mario community, like world record pace in when every runner's an intro, or it all comes down to BLJs and 16 star. Is there any specific like Mario focused bit on commentary that like you're kind of a fan of? Is there any that like you kind of think are funny, like any in particular?
Maybe not so much like commentary stuff, but like I think my favorite thing that's happening right now is when someone's PB pace going to Tippy. That's nothing to do with commentary. I can't really think of anyone who does things commentary wise, but one thing I specifically know, like if this were to ever happen in comms, that'd be sick. But someone's on PB pace going to Tippy and they go for Wilco clip and they get like the instant like green Sweegie BLJ going up there, and then you just see GTM post in your chat, 120 runners never get that. Literally just like frame one when it happens. He's just there, copy and pasted, ready to go. I swear he has that like on a notebook, just so you can just copy and paste it and just put it in chat whenever he needs to.
I love
He
that
knows.
bit. He knows.
He's just browsing the category, waiting.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Wilco clip to happen. That's probably my favorite thing to come up as of late with that. But that's like one of my favorite bits to see. And I think commentary wise, I think like people who have like one-liners or whatever, and someone who is just probably like when I think of Mario commentary, I just immediately go to this person, and this is what comes to my mind. But West Dog, he's
Easy.
He's cream of the crop. He's like up there for best commentator for sure. He's got the voice, he's got the enthusiasm, he's got the knowledge, he's got everything. He's the guy for commentary.
He's the GOAT.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, listen, Beeve, this has been great. We want to be cognizant of your time. We have one final question for you. We've asked this to everyone who's come on so far, and we will continue to ask it. Are you familiar with there's a terminology in sports media, Mount Rushmore?
Yes.
Okay. What are your Mount Rushmore of stars in Mario speedrunning?
Stars. Okay. I was expecting runners.
I
so
knew it.
I was like,
Every time.
Everyone
Every
has said the exact same. They're always like freaking out. They're like, oh wait, not runners?
yeah. So I was like, oh, thank God. I don't have to piss people off.
That'll be season 2. We do runners and we just start drama.
All right. So my Mount Rushmore of stars. Now, is this like personal favorites or like most influential stars that have shaped the game?
Open to interpretation. However you want to see it.
Okay. I think I'll do most influential stars. So that way I'm not biased towards favorites because my favorite star is changing like every week. So
I feel that.
all right. So Canonless, definitely on there. Canonless, I would say maybe Pillarless too. I guess that star inside the pyramid. Star number 3 SSL. And then I would say as much as I hate it, Carpetless.
You have
like
to.
Big star in the whatever it's called, star on top of the big house. Definitely on Mount Rushmore. And then I would probably say I'm stuck between 2. I don't know if I will say Dark World Reds or Bomb Clip.
Ooh.
Don't know which one.
What's your reasoning for each? Walk us through it.
The Bomb Clip, it's the first star everyone learns because it's star number 1.
Yep.
Everyone learns it. That's the first star everyone learns. So that's the reasoning why I think it should be on there.
Yeah.
Unless you're going straight to 1 star, which good luck. But
wait, you guys didn't do that? I thought that was the normal progression. I started with 0.
Yeah, 1 star. You get Bomb Clip and then you do DDD skip and you just go to Fire Sea.
The unorthodox 1 star.
Yeah, it's either Bomb Clip or Dark World Reds, but I think I'll say Dark World Reds just because it's such a cool star. So I would say Canonless, Carpetless, Pillarless, and Dark World Reds. That's my Mount Rushmore.
You had all of the lesses and then Dark World Reds thrown in there. I like it.
Yeah. Yep.
I like it.
Those are all good staples of Mario, I think, in 120.
No, I think it's a solid list. I love that Mount Rushmore. Well, listen, Beeve, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you coming on here and talking about your experience, both as a runner and a commentator. Huge congrats on your performance this past weekend. You absolutely crushed it. And not only did you crush it, you showed that you have more left in the tank and there is more to come. I can't wait to see what you do in these next 2 weekends of qualifiers. Maybe even sneak in there as a dark horse qualifier. It'd be awesome to see you competing on the stage in the finals.
Yeah, thank you so much. That would be really cool. For round 2, unfortunately, though, I am going to be at ESA in Sweden. So it's going to be a little hard for me to get a run in, but I think I can squeeze a run or 2 while I'm there. So we'll see.
Just 1 attempt, PB, head out.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Perfect. We'll take care, man.
All right. Yeah, you too. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Beeve.
Zeus, when your screen changed, I felt so bad, dude, because like you were giving like a great answer and it was so well thought out, and I was biting my lip so hard I thought I was gonna bleed. I was like dying laughing. It was like this chocolate commercial. Oh my god.
I was like, oh, surely it won't play an ad. It's like it's an 11-hour video. I'm like, how long do you have to get in before it plays an ad? I was really tempted fate. It turns out not
Dude,
far.
my eyes darted over so fast, you have no idea. But I was able to stay focused and not let it distract me.
Nice.